gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Aquiline something, Aquavelva.
Aquila.
Yeah, we got the Aquavelva car with John Barker. With me, as always, is the man, the myth, the Martin, and Mio Dread. Don't call me Slobodon. War criminalitis.
That is true. We'll go with that.
All true.
Slobodan Magas.
I am, of course, your illustrious host, Julio Cesar Chavez, the 14th.
I would like to announce that the Godzilla Racing team has changed our liveries. We are now going with the White Academy liveries because one of them says YouTube on it. Needless to say, I will be driving the one that has YouTube on it.
Der Juden. I thought the Godzilla team had to be green.
There are not enough green Nissans. There is only one green Nissan.
Should you be Team King Kong and have brown ones?
There are not enough brown ones. There are no brown ones.
What kind of racist nonsense is you driving?
The color palette for the Nissan GTR GT3 car is very limited. It is the following colors: black.
That's pretty limited.
It's very limited. There's some white ones too, but that's about it. Anyways, we have a grid. Mike Stockmill, Sean Kenny, Luca Gray. What the fuck is Luca Gray doing up in third place?
He's fast, man.
Andrew D? What is going on here? What's going on here?
Oh, wait, it changed.
Christopher Streppen dropped into second place.
Chris the Stripper.
Luca Gray and Andrew D in the top five. Congratulations, gentlemen. Like, that's all I can say on that matter.
Indeed. So what the fuck is an Aquila? He asked, not knowing anything.
It is a sports car made in Denmark, of all places. We have a lovely siren in the background for Martin.
Somebody's got an open mic. Doo-da.
The Aquila is a sports car that is kind of interesting. It's a race car that is almost always used for like spec series and like charity racing events to a large degree. It's very intriguing.
Weird.
It's kind of like it's a rich playboy car. That's what it is.
It's the Koenigsegg, but not quite.
Less expensive than the Koenigsegg.
What they need is some Koenigs bacon. That's what they need.
But anyways, that is the story. So it's basically a prototype car, and by prototype I mean the prototype racing category, P1, P2. Mm-hmm. And it's really fast. It handles really, really well, and it's a really cool car. So we are getting ready to start here. We got red lights, and we are off.
Oh my God, Steve Nash is in 20th.
That is Vic Nash. In the lead, Mike Stockmill. Of course, Sean Kinney up in second place after a bit of a bad start.
Green on green violence.
There's some accidents in the background. There are people spinning off.
Why do we always get this lame-ass camera angle? Why can't we get the helicopter shot right there?
Because we're focusing on Luca Gray and his return to the ESR community.
But I want to see carnage.
So, I'm assuming Luca Gray is going to get fucked at some point, because I noticed that he left the Discord server, like, right after this race.
That seems likely.
You'll be the judge of that.
Okay.
Indeed I shall. We will be Judge Judy and Executioner.
And I'm not going to lie, I was really happy I started from the pit lane and avoided all of that carnage.
Yeah, there was a little bit there at the start.
Indeed.
Crazy.
So Luca Gray up into third place behind Sean Kenny. Mike Stockmill has already pulled out to like a second lead. So
Verstappen lost a couple of positions there. He was in second, wasn't he?
He started second, lost second right off the bat to Sean Kenny, and then Luca Gray got around him. He got a very bad start and kind of got chopped a little bit by Sean. Not in a manner that I would suggest as a penalty or anything like that. Just, it happens. And he lost a little bit of momentum, and that let Luca Gray go on the attack, and he took it and took that third place for CC competition.
All right, let's see what happens here.
We've got Wayne Hutchinson in fifth. Go Wayne. And Martin Edmonds right behind him with Richard DeRoche, John Barker, Joe Racer, and Ronaldo Tavares rounding off the top 10.
Ronaldo!
Also discovered that there is an MMA fighter named Ronaldo Tavares who is fighting on a card that I'm going to next month. So there you go.
Very nice.
Cool.
And deepest, darkest Shikutami.
ESR's own Mischief will be on the card.
Oh, very nice.
Indeed. This will be her second pro fight.
And the first one against an actual human.
And Luca Gray going around the outside at the hairpin. I don't think that's going to work, but...
We're going to miss all that action.
No, I think we didn't really miss much. I think Sean Kenny was always going to defend that position. I don't really know if you can go around the outside of the hairpin.
Yeah,
that's a tough ask.
Ooh.
Big old tough ass.
Luca is a little ballistic. I remember he had some ping problems when he raced with us before, so always got to be careful with that.
Maybe he should get some of that Swindon fiber.
Sean went way wide, and Luca Gray up into second place. Josiah Jerome trying to get up into 13th place here. He's putting a fight on against Robert Waddell.
I do enjoy his livery. The Waddell livery is quite nice. Very understated.
It's actually mine as well.
There's also contact there between Sean Kenny and Luca Gray. Luca comes out on the worst end of it, but... from what I could see there, that was more or less a side-by-side racing incident. Not really anything worth getting angry about, but...
it's just a firm handshake right there.
Ronaldo Tavares up into 9th place, with Luca Gray rejoining in 10th. And John Barker has got someone on his tail there. I believe that is Vic Nash, who is making his, or her, ESR debut. Trying to get around. Because I'm assuming the Vic is short for Victor, but it could also be short for Victoria, for all I know. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. We do not know.
We do not know. So,
I might know.
Christoph Verstappen putting the pressure on Sean Kenny now. Sean has had the wars with Luca Gray, and looks like he's held that position for now, although the camera decided to leave that fight at an inopportune time. Speaking of Luca Gray, going around the outside of Ronaldo Tavares.
Probably why he left.
I know somebody has a couple of accidents in one race. That's, might be one thing or the other. Or it might just be one common denominator. I'm not here to judge. I'm not a racing guy. I'm just putting it out there.
I'm not really sure if I would pin the blame on Luca for that particular accident, but I would say that going around the outside of the hairpin, which he tried to do a couple laps ago against Sean Kenny, is it shouldn't be your go-to move. It's a very low percentage move.
Plus, the person on the inside will hold his line and probably be in your way if you try to take the optimal line.
Andrew D with the nice silver livery there and green.
And didn't he start 5th or 6th?
He did, but I think he was involved in that accident at the start, the green on green violence. I think that was him and. That was him and Richard DeRoche, I think.
Alrighty.
And,
that's a nice view.
Needless to say, Andrew D came off the worst of it. Oh, someone's off the track. That's not Christopher Verstappen, despite what the video is telling you. That is Enrique Herdovas.
Oh, the worst part about this is he was in the top there. And if I remember right, I think Sean Kenny took him out, but that could be on race 2. I'm probably wrong here.
Well, it definitely wasn't Sean Kenny this time, because Hervas was not anywhere near Sean.
Okay, so then it's on race 2 then. Sorry.
So
take him out for a nice seafood dinner.
Verstappen's putting the pressure on in the Tolman Motorsports car. Nice to see the Tolman name. They used to be an F1, actually. They were Ayrton Senna's first team for interesting trivia for anyone into that sort of thing.
I know who Senna is. I watched that documentary on Netflix.
Yeah. It's probably one of the 5 F1 drivers you can name.
We got Schumacher. Yay for me. We got Senna. We got
yay for you.
James Hunt.
Mm-hmm. Rush.
and the other guy from Rush.
Niki Lauda.
Yeah, Niki Lauda. I knew I was going to come up with it in 10 or 12 minutes.
I was willing to give you Lauda.
And Rubens Barrichello.
You got to six.
I remember Rubens Barrichello because Jeremy Clarkson wanted to push a life-size bust of Rubens Barrichello made out of butter through a fan. He said that on an episode of Top Gear once.
I never really got Clarkson's hate for Barrichello, but
I don't think it was serious.
It probably wasn't. But I don't know. Even when he's kidding, usually there's like a story behind it. I don't really think there ever was one.
I have no idea. I assume that they met one time and they kind of they hit it off or not. And
Martin Edmonds setting up for a run in the inside of the hairpin, but unable to make it happen against Christoph Verstappen, who hangs on to third position. Luca Gray appears to be out of the race, by the way. He is down a lap to everybody, so that would suggest he is out of here. I will say that.
Did we just lose Kanietsky?
No. Oh, maybe we did. I think his internet gave out.
I was just looking to see who was at the back of the pack, and Kanietsky was back there, and then he was gone.
Yeah, I believe his internet gave out, if I recall correctly. Me and him were actually having a really good scrap until he had a bit of an accident, which I did not induce in any way.
So just a heads up for the viewers that are not in this race, the tires and the fuel is at 2x, so the wear goes pretty quick.
I'll let you keep believing that.
It's going to be interesting on a 75-minute race.
Because I did not have tire problems. You did.
Martin, is it true that all of your cars run on just straight asphalt shingling instead of actual tire material?
Yes, I stick all of that to it.
Probably would be actually advantageous.
Just nail it right on there. Need some extra wear.
Ooh,
no, actually, the tires were actually pretty resistant on this compared to the DTM 92.
Kind of hoping we get a close-up of Joe Racer's car, because I can see it in the background there. I think it's the Lotus car. That always looks really cool, so I'm hoping we get a little bit of camera time for that at some point. Verstappen has lost a spot to Martin Edmonds, but it looks like he's going to take it back at the hairpin. Yeah.
Oh, or not. Or, yeah. All right. He's
Josiah Jerome lining up for an overtake of John Barker there. So Josiah up into the top 10. Good work. There were rumors that Josiah was going to team up with Adele Ficali and run Tropical Storm Racing in 3D Speed, but apparently that fell apart.
It was because Josiah Jerome's moved up in the world. He has an actual monitor now. And he's too cool for that kind of shit.
Something happened with Josiah there, because he's dropped back to 12th place now, having lost the spot back to John Barker, along with his spot to Andrew D.
Well, you see, he's got so much widescreen potential now that he just can't keep track of what's going on, and therefore he's losing his mind.
So Christoph lost another spot there. I don't know what happened. Once again, lost a spot.
Ran out of gas.
Behind you again there, Martin. One would think you would know, Martin.
I don't keep track, to be honest.
So Martin up into third place ahead of the two Tolman cars. John Barker is slipping back badly. He's now behind Vic Nash, so he must have gone off the track at some point. Looks like maybe Andrew D was involved in that as well, because Andrew D is behind him. And looks like maybe they had a side-by-side moment where they ended up off the track and are now behind Vic Nash. Enrique Hervas is the car coming up behind them. And we know that Hervas has got some speed because he's a Div 1 driver.
Well, Mr. Andrew D had Div 1 speed for lap time anyway. But he's going to be on the Div 2.
He is very new to sim racing, so I'm going to be intrigued to see what he can do in the long term.
We'll see what his final spot is.
Trying to get back at Martin Edmonds.
No. Bad
Well, you know, and to be honest, like it's different car to car, because I mean, like I'm seeing some guys up there who you wouldn't really think of being like that fast. Like you look at Wayne Hutchinson, no disrespect to my teammate, but 5th place. That's in somewhat uncharacteristically high mark for him. Joe Racer's doing real well. Wayne Medeiros is up in the top 10 there. Ronaldo Tavares is in the top 10. Like these are guys who we don't usually see in the top 10, and there are some guys further down who you would more accumulate with that kind of speed that are not delivering. So, I mean, it's always interesting when you enter a new car type. Prototypes are their own thing.
Well, Hutchinson has been really fast since, the last team event. So something's clicked.
He's always been super fast in, like, prototypes and open wheelers. Tin tops are a bit of his weakness, so.
What was this about Evan Wheeler?
Open wheeler, not
oh, my bad.
Not Kikale.
My bad. I misheard.
There were not nearly enough tears in there to be Evan Wheeler.
Well, maybe, Martin could use that for lube on his tires.
Evan Wheeler, the solution to your tire degradation.
There's a lot of inside joke going on there. Don't worry about it if you don't follow it. But if you get involved with the MMA sim, you may run into Kid Chaos and feel the power of the lube.
Martin does have a fighter, although he has not made his debut yet. I'm actually working on creating the MMA sim from scratch again so that I can perhaps distribute it if I can get it to work to my exacting specifications.
That'll take days.
Well, I'm unemployed at the moment, so I got time.
2 weeks and done.
I've got the basic functionality already up and running. The problem is some of the career stuff is non-existent, and what is there is not working very well. And I will say that the sim does seem to have a bizarre submission problem when it comes to omoplatas.
Interesting.
Because I ran a couple of test fights, and we had 20 finishes by omoplata, which is distinctly not a thing that should happen.
Everybody's shoulder just getting busted right up. Also, I need some Aquila with the Ultimate Warrior face paint on the front.
That would look great.
It's perfect. It's perfectly set up.
Christoph is not happy with you, Martin. He is flashing you the headlights.
Oh, yeah.
It's because he's racist against other Europeans.
And it looks like it worked because you went very wide there and have left yourself very open to attack here coming into turn 1. This turn 1 is exceedingly difficult to get perfect, and it's really fun.
Oh!
And Martin is way off the track.
I lifted off there.
Still liking that livery. I like the off-white with the not bright blue. I think that's a very good combo.
It's a very different one.
It does look really good. It's one of those ones that didn't look really good in the picture, but looking at it in-game, it does look very nice.
Yeah, I think it's one of the ones without the shocking, just bright white for no reason, with tiny geometric patterns on it for no reason. Paul. I'm going to put 3 squares on my car, and it's going to be white. Alright, and... I don't know.
That's it.
I just like that button on my PlayStation, okay?
Whoa!
Oh, yeah. You have to hit the brake hard. Holy shit! Whoa!
Very off the track.
And tire flies off into the stands, kills 18 people.
In the meantime, Christopher Streppin and Martin Edmonds getting the elbows out, and Martin gets the better of this battle and is back up into 3rd place.
The plow is down.
This is really playing into the hands of Sean Kenny, though, who is kind of disappearing into the distance on you guys.
A bastard.
Laces out, Marino.
And right on your tail is Canada's own Wayne Hutchinson. By the way,
playing for him
why did you not turn the nationality flags on?
What on the...
actually, you're right.
Because it's all Aquilas.
Aquilas. Oh, we can still see their flag down there.
The Emperor protects.
It's a spec series, guys. Come on.
Can we change this to the Warhammer 40k League?
Oh,
if everybody's going to have the Aquila.
Why did I not think of that?
The Imperium of Drive.
The Imperium of Drive, yes. The God Emperor of Speed.
Yeah, winner gets to become God Emperor of Speed.
There you go.
Oh, God.
Christoph going down the inside to the airbed.
My tire was completely locked there.
Couldn't get the job done. Martin, maybe if you took care to not torture your tires and destroy them.
I'm helping out Hutchinson here. Can't you tell? He's my fellow Canadian after all.
This is true. He is Team Can. And there's another Canadian in behind him. That's Richard DeRoche. As James Butler makes up a spot against one of your livery mates there, Robert Waddell. Good to see.
Come on, Waddell.
Good to see Robert on the track.
God, this fight again?
This is the fight to look at right now. No one else is... Well, you know what? There's another one. There's Enrique Hervas and Ronaldo Tavares actually having a good scrap for 11th place. A little shame we haven't seen that much. And further down in the field, Michael Magus and Sarah Hunty are going at it for 14.
Come on, Sarah. Put him in a wall.
No, Sarah's
my line.
Is a classy racer, and we had a lot of fun. Although
All right.
there was one collision that was a little ugly, but I don't believe it was anyone's fault. I believe those were racing's.
Maybe that's going to be Sarah's new nickname, the Classy Racer.
The classy racer? I mean, she's not the classiest racer in the field. So, I don't know. Like, if anyone's the classy racer, it's got to be Toby Howard. Because Toby is, like, classy to a fault. Like, he could stand to be less classy.
We referred to him as Lord Classington.
So I just changed the camera to chopper cam there while on that long straight. I tried a few times to change the camera for your viewing pleasures.
I think from now on you should insert some flashing font going chopper cab.
Speaking of which, we have Enrique Hervas versus Eric Clean here for Eric Klein, whatever.
No Ruggerts Racing.
It looks like Hervas is going to get that top 10 spot from Eric. He's kind of left Ronaldo Tavares in the dust for the last lap or two. Tavares is falling back. Wonder if he made a mistake.
Hervas was very fast on this.
Or if race. Tavares is starting to struggle with tires like Mr. Martin.
I didn't start struggling until probably the 20-minute mark in 2 minutes.
I would say that Tavares might be struggling with tires because he just got passed like he was just not moving by John Barker. So, and is dropping like an absolute stone. Jesus. He's definitely got something wrong. I don't know. Either he's got something plaguing him in real life, maybe a cat jumped on his lap or something, or he's got no tires left. And
he was bombarded by porcupines.
And he's got 6 minutes and 20 seconds remaining, so if he's got no tires left, this is gonna get bad pretty quick.
Come on, Wayne, you gotta get in there.
Yeah, but he's the Tolman teammate, man. Can't take out the teammate.
Same color, same team, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are they aware?
They're both the Tolman Motorsports crew.
Oh, there he is. Close enough.
I was tempted by the Tolman livery just because of the Formula One stories you can tell.
Number 8 followed by number 9 coming around the corner. They both looking to perhaps drive the car forward at all times.
I don't know if I'd call that corner they just went through a corner. It's like full throttle. And
his teammates.
It's scary as fuck. Yeah, indeed. We got Sarah Hunty chasing down Michael Magus, battle for 14th place.
Drake.
And we had been battling pretty much the whole race at this point because we came through the grid together. I started in the pit lane and Sarah was involved in that carnage at the start and dropped her right to the back. So we've been more or less coming through the grid together, having occasional fights ourselves, but more or less just gobbling people up. And of course, at some point in like the next 2 minutes, I'm going to vomit into the bucket mid-turn. So
Neat.
That's great.
Are we gonna see that live? Is the director gonna be on you?
I don't think so. I don't think there was a car near me, but I'm just throwing it out there. Around the 2 minutes and 30-second mark remaining in the race, there will be a vomit.
I think you need to just duct tape a giant garbage bag to your chest so you have a big old puke bib.
Oh, I should take a picture of actually. So I took one of those big popcorn buckets, the jumbo fucking popcorn bucket, and that is currently fastened with zip ties to the thing that normally holds my keyboard on the racing sim.
Very nice.
So that was the target for any needs to vomit.
Well, all right, interesting. Oh, there we go. We can see Mike right there, waving his hand at the camera. Don't look at me, don't look at me.
Battling with my stomach at this point. Actually, at this point in the race, I was actually having some serious problems with the stomach because it was fine as long as I had a car in front of me to kind of fixate my glance on. But once I was kind of on my own and for example, in this particular moment, actually Sarah just got past me there, but she's going to end up giving the spot back, I think, at some point. I don't remember what happened. Yeah, I don't remember what happened there, but I do remember I get her back. I think she makes a mistake.
It's pretty rare that we see a 20th position fight on the director.
There's a good fight going there between D Much. I'm not familiar with that driver, and of course, Peachy Fresh, John Peacha.
And we are now back to Verstappen.
You know, at some point, Raceroom needs to have a livery for freshly squeezed, and that's going to be Peach's livery. That's going to be it right there.
That'd be pretty dope.
As John is going for the inside move here on Mr. Much. Or Mrs. Much? I don't know. And it looks like the Peach has not come out on the better here. Looks like the Peach is a little bit slow in the straightaway, so I'm wondering if he's maybe running a little bit too much wing.
Doesn't matter, has best livery.
Also, I mean, I've noticed that it takes a lot of wing to show any difference graphically, but it does look like there's a more narrow wing on that Tolman car than on Mr. John Peach's car. So, could be that he is running a little bit too much wing. That will help him in the corners, gives him better grip, but it is going to hurt him in the straightaway.
Yeah, I was running higher wings than Sean and Verstappen, as far as they told me.
I was running 4 wing. I tried 0 because I feel like 0 is optimal here. Like, I feel like this is a power circuit. Somebody's having some problems there, and that's, I think, Mr. Much. Losing a spot there to John Peach. James Butler and Michael Magus both passed Sarah Hunty. Okay, I know what happened there. So Sarah came off of corner 1, and you know how if you ride the curb a little bit, you get that snap of the front end? She got that snap of the front end, like dove right to the wall, managed to save herself, but lost 2 spots.
And here comes Verstappen again. Ugh.
So Verstappen on the tail of Martin Edmonds again. And you got some traffic coming up here. That's the John Peach. That's John Peach, Dallas Munch, and I think Andrew D, who's very out of place there.
Sean in there too.
Yeah, it looks like Sean Kenny at the front of that, making his way through. So I believe that's 19th through 21st, with second place having made his way through.
Correct.
We're down to the final minute, so this could be the final lap, or maybe the next one will be the final lap.
I think there's another one.
Depends on the gap Mike Stoffmill's rocking, because at the moment it's 20 seconds from second place.
Yeah, oh yeah. But Sean is right in the front of this back here.
James Butler in a red and black sandwich.
What kind of bread is that?
It's the Aquila Race Cars team, and it's the Yugoslavian and Power Squad. Because
it's the angriest pumpernickel and blueberry sandwich.
One driver's Croatian, one driver's Serbian. So I mean, yeah, it's gonna end poorly.
The sandwich that wars with itself.
As Martin Edmonds and Christoph Verstappen cut their way through the blue flag traffic. Good job by the blue flag guys getting out of the way, but keeping on the pace. It's nice.
Yeah, that one was a little bit more dangerous.
And John Peach letting the battlers for third place go through. And he'll resume his fight with Mr. Much. Andrew D is keeping up with Sean Kenny, so you probably won't end up with him being blue flagged, but that is because he's very, very out of position after that spin off into the wall earlier in the race. Hopefully his car is okay.
Agreed.
There you go. D is Dallas.
Dallas Much of Australia.
Dallas, too much.
Got another Aussie in the house. As that is Richard DeRoche putting a lap on them.
And Richard's going in for the next one.
Christoph Verstappen getting a little physical with you, Martin.
Put him in the wall.
Just wants
on the last lap.
Just wants to reach out and touch you.
It was the stroke of feathers of the Aquila.
Oh!
Just wants to give you the 2-hand salute.
Oh, Josiah, there you go. Drive through. Speeding in the pit lane.
Speeding in the pit lane, Josiah. Reckless behavior. Enrique Hervas takes a spot there off of Wayne Medeiros, moving up into 8th position. He has no headlight there, so definitely has been in the wars, Enrique.
Yep. Well, didn't he lose a bunch of position at the start?
He did. I think he lost some positions later on as well, so perhaps multiple incidents. as Martin Edmonds heads to the start-finish straight and will take home a podium here in the opener for the Aquila Cup.
Yeah.
Fourth place there going to Christoph Verstappen. Wayne Medeiros trying to come back at Enrique Hervas here in the late stages. Trying to get that 8th place back.
Hervas all the way to 8. Solid.
Michael Meg is coming in 14th after putting Sarah Hunty in the wall repeatedly with malice aforethought.
Oh, please. If there was malice and forethought, she'd be below 16th.
Or both of you would just be out of the race.
I am very thorough. And there is 8th, 9th, and 10th across the line, virtually together. John Barker's... or was that it? No, this is James Butler, not Eric Klein. So I don't know why we got that name up there. That's Mr. Boutelier tracking down Michael Magus. And I do have to say, I have to say nice things about James Butler, because I normally rag I normally rag on him. At no point in the race did I get butlered.
You were not buttled?
I was not sufficiently buttled. I held him off.
Ooh. The race is over? No, he's actually done. That's the AI.
90-second penalty for Josiah Jerome will drop him down to 16th place. That was the drive-through penalty he got and was unable to serve. And did not do the Michael Schumacher and serve it after the checkered flag and somehow get away with it.
That sounds like a great move.
It was highly controversial.
Yeah, I can understand that, since you're supposed to serve penalties during the race.
They basically complained that they were not informed about the penalty in a sufficient amount of time, and then when they were informed upon it, they appealed the penalty and then served it on the last lap, and therefore crossed the finish line while serving the penalty.
That's a great move. That's some straight pimp shit right there.
Really, if you're ever interested in just like following a season of racing, I recommend the 1994 championship. It is both sad, hilarious, and incompetence all rolled up into a nice ball.
That sounds fantastic.
Someone recommended at one point, I'm very much a fan of this idea of someone needs to make a movie about it and call it Option 13, because the deal was, and we'll cover this right after we start the race here because we're about to start away.
We have a reverse top 8 position here.
Top 8 positions was Enrique Hervas and Joe Racer on the front row, with Richard DeRoche and Wayne Hutchinson on row 2.
I'd like to welcome Enrique back to the racing. I haven't seen him in forever.
We are down to 20.
Oh, there's some shenanigans. There's definitely shenanigans.
There is some shenanigans going on. Sean Kenny got very wide there. And we'll say, you in
the mom's joke with Sean Kenny?
Someone went really off the track there. One of the golf cars went exploring the off-track area.
That's one of the golf cars went exploring right off the line, exploring very thoroughly his neighbor.
Mm-hmm. Christoph Verstappen up into 4th position, or
maybe
actually
not.
we probably started for about 5th place actually, so it's not too much of a game. But Martin Edmonds is coming through the pack, and right on Martin Edmonds' tail. I know, it took me a moment to realize it, but that is Mike Stockmill. We barely saw his car the whole first race, so it is the black and yellow one.
Hats off to Christoph there for lifting off.
Diving down the inside of Joe Racer, Christoph Verstappen gets into the back of Joe, and it's a massive pileup.
Oh boy,
I like it.
I can see from reading.
Spoiler alert: there's been a penalty on that move.
There was, I think was there 2 penalties there? I know Verstappen got one.
Yeah.
So Juan Barcadero's the golf car out front. The guy in the back, who's that?
I know John Pecha is one of the golf cars.
The Peach. We got his juice all over some people early on in the race.
The Peach is up into 11th place.
Yeah, because he teabagged everyone else.
Dallas Munch is up into 10th place, a top 10 for the Aussie debut.
So we need to be on the lookout for a possible penalty to Josiah Jerome on race 2. If we don't see one, then his 90 seconds that he got at the end of this is not valid. So keep an eye out.
Okay.
We think there was a game glitch.
I mean, I mean, the way off the track there, would that count as a penalty?
No, we've removed that to prevent people from getting drive-through the moment that the race starts.
I understand that, but I mean, I'm just pointing out that probably was worth a drive-through penalty right there if they were on, because he was very off the track there. I think it was him, anyways. I can't guarantee. I'd have to go back and look at the replay, but that was definitely the livery that Josiah is rocking. That was way off the track there.
So heads up for people in the championship. Next race, the drive-through will be turned on. I was a freebie on race one.
Yeah, this track has a very interesting first turn that tends to engineer some rather unfair drive-through penalties for avoiding carnage, which is not really something. Like, it would be nice almost if there was a feature to turn off the drive-throughs on like lap 1 or something. Because there's a couple of tracks that definitely have that problem. If it's like you've gotten a drive-through penalty, but my other option was like to completely torpedo this other guy. Like,
that one was too easy. The moment you miss that first turn or you go wide, like you said, to avoid anyone, you're done. Because of the speed you can keep, right?
Oh yeah, no, it's a massive advantage. Like, I totally understand the logic, but it's one of those things where I mean, not that I would, you can't have real-time stewarding these. You can't. It's not really feasible. You got to use the AI, but the AI, it's the reason that we, for the longest time, we still don't use the yellow flag rule in 3D Speed, anyways, because there are some serious problems with the yellow flag and getting drive-through penalties for passing under yellows when you pass the car that is triggering the yellow and is like, in a wall. And it's like, so you're saying I need to stop.
Yeah, that's been turned off a long time ago for any races at ESR. Mm-hmm. It's always been visuals only, because if a car spins right in front of you and you're passing it, you could get a penalty.
Josiah Jerome going up against James Butler. So it was either Josiah or Ronaldo who took the massive shortcut. So, I don't know. That might be worth looking at.
Actually, funny thing is, not many lap with time gain were reported. I got a feeling some of the stats went missing on this race.
I think if you turn off drive-through penalties, it tends to not really track that properly.
You're probably right.
That's been my experience, anyways. So, Mike Stockmill is just going to say, second place? Second place is mine. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Richard DeRoche unable to defend. Sean Kenny and Martin Edmonds getting a little frisky over fourth place there as well.
So to go back to your point about the penalty not being on and not being calculated, I wonder why some racer, the cut track did show up, but for most it didn't.
Yeah, I've not managed to figure out the log file logic on the matter, but it does seem like, just like for my own races when the drive-throughs have been off or there's been no cut rule penalties, like it does feel like I'm getting away with a lot more as far as the log file is concerned. As Sean Kenny gives Martin Edmonds a little shove there to take over fourth place.
Is it over?
Well, you got the inside line into the sweeper. I assume
I gave
you're
it to
get
him.
It back. Okay. You could have made an issue of that.
No, I told him. No point. Risky spot. I'll get him back.
He says that, but Martin's making a death list right now.
Probably. Media Corp Racing. That's kind of a lame name for a team. Yeah, that's a name for a team. Whoa. No Regrets Racing. As Enrique Hermas loses second place.
Well.
So anyways, back to the option 13 that I was talking about before the start of the race. So back in 1994, Formula One banned any electronic driving aids you can think of. Traction control, launch control, everything. So it became known that the 1994 Benetton, as well as the Ferrari, still had their launch control software in the car. Now, Ferrari turned their stuff over and it was proved that it wouldn't work. So it's like, whatever. You probably should get rid of this, but whatever. The Benetton one were like, no, ours totally doesn't work. And then they, eventually surrendered their computer stuff And the guys who were investigating it are like, what are you talking about? This will totally work. You just got to go down to option 13 here, which has no title. And if you go down to option 13, the launch control totally works. And Benetton's reaction was, oh, we didn't know that.
Oh, no.
Sean
That's
Kenny.
the one.
Sean Kenny gets into the back of Enrique Hervas and spins him around. The bad day for Hervas continues.
He scrambled them huevos.
And Martin Edmonds is going for that double podium as he moves into third position.
Put him in the wall.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, that penalty on Sean never materialized because Enrique did not report him.
That is the rule here in ESR, guys. If you don't report it, it will not be investigated.
You can report literally everybody all the time for everything.
Wayne Medeiros up into a nice 6th place ahead of John Barker and Eric Klein. These three have really... they've kept their noses clean, and some other key people have had some incidents, and it's really paying off for them because, 6th, 7th, and 8th, that's some really good solid points.
Welcome, Eric Klein, to Division 2, by the way. He's done very good on this racing.
He'll be quickly elevated to position or division 0.5.
Indeed. I'll say Wayne Hutchinson, Christopher Streppen are having a bad day. They're down in 12th and 14th, respectively. Joe Racer down in 16th place. So there's some guys out of position here. And Andrew D's having a rough one again, down in 19th position.
Well, Hutchinson still finished, 7th on race 1, I think?
He
Or
finished,
6th.
I believe, 6th in race 1. No,
Yeah.
5th.
There you go. So he's not a bad day. Maybe just a bad race.
This
so
particular
far.
race. Him and Verstappen are just having a bad. Oh, Tavares gets into it with
God.
that is James Butler.
Dang.
And there was a penalty on that move. Just saying.
There may have been some buttling.
That is a buttling penalty.
Martin Edmonds has lost third to Sean Kinney, so Sean is on the charge and looking to get around Richard DeRoche.
There's some strategy to this. I'll let you figure it out.
What, you believe that Sean will clumsily try to overtake DeRoche and put both of them off the track?
He's under pressure, and look at this.
Yeah.
What happened?
Now you still got to get around Sean Kinney.
Oh, I'm not gonna get around Sean. He was way too fast.
John Barker in the Gulf Oil car.
Let's put it this way. I prefer fighting with DeRoche than fighting with Chang.
But Sean is such a challenge. I've enjoyed the few times I've gotten to go head-to-head with Sean.
I just got to follow his line here, and it will help me defeat DeRoche.
Oop, a little bit of disappearing car-itis there for a moment.
Yeah, I actually remember this myself because the director is recorded here. I remember seeing both these guys disappear on me at that exact moment. So the director caught it too.
For those wondering, Michael Mag is down in 22nd place. 5 laps down, not actually running, still sitting in the pit lane.
Yeah, and I put you a DNS, by the way. 0 point.
That would be the appropriate response.
Did not Sagittarius.
I did not leave the pit lane.
I don't understand how the game or the logs showed that you were finished, that you finished the race, when you didn't even put a single lap.
I mean, you don't have to put a lap to finish it.
Apparently. But you at least have to leave the starting line, wouldn't you?
One would think, but no, I did not. I'm still sitting in the pit lane.
Here comes Medeiros.
Wayne Medeiros up on Enrique Hervas. These two had a pretty good scrap in race 1, and they're reinvigorating hostilities here in race 2. And over 5th place, no doubt. So that'll be really nice. That might be the first top 5 Wayne Medeiros has ever had if he manages to get that spot. Josiah Jerome trying to cut through the grid here. He's up on the tail of John Barker and Eric Klein in a battle for 7th place.
He was definitely off position right there. You had better pace than that.
I suspect he's actually more or less on position. It's just that the cars ahead of him are off position. Because there are some people who are off position even further back, like Andrew.
Speaking of off position,
as Christoph Verstappen takes 11th place off of Sarah Hunty. Christoph Verstappen's off position. Joe Racer's off. Wayne Hutchinson's off. Andrew D's off.
Boo. No, he's not off. He's right there.
I mean, he qualified in the top 10 and is running in 16th place. I'd say he's off position.
I gotcha. I got a feeling we're going to see these two here fighting for a while.
Richard DeRoche and Martin Edmonds battle for top Canadian honors.
Goddamn Canuck, eh?
Top Canuck.
Actually, just a funny story. At some point, Sean Kenny, at the very start of ESR in 2014, was driving with a Canadian flag. So I don't know if he has like dual citizenship, but now that he's living in the state, he preferred American flag.
Well, he'd have to have triple citizenship because, of course, he's UK born, is he not?
What? I've never heard about that. That's interesting. I guess we'll have to quiz him on that.
Indeed. Answer the question, Sean.
Whoa.
How on a scale of 1 to Owen Hargraves, how multinational are you?
7.
For those who are unaware, Owen Hargreaves is a soccer player who played for England, Canada, and the United States at the international level.
All in the same tournament.
No, not in the same tournament.
Very legal, totally above board.
Played for Canada originally. He became good enough to play for the UK, and then when he stopped being good enough for the UK, he was like, you know what? Hey, America, what you got for me, baby?
Money, money!
Is Josiah gonna pull it off?
I think he
on
will.
The chopper cam.
That inside line and through the hairpin is very powerful. Yeah, a little squeeze there. I think he's got it.
The power of the pin compels you.
Now, John could force the issue here because they're coming up to that fast sweeper we talked about before. I mean, and if he wants to force it, he can try and do it, but it's very dangerous, and John Barker's not that kind of racer. And there we go. Josiah is through.
Yep.
There are some drivers I would really expect them to force the issue there. Not going to name any names because they're all assholes.
Marius.
I would not. I would not force the issue there.
Marius Pujanowski?
I mean, Marius Pujanowski probably would. He is a roid head.
Correct.
I'll tell you who really would, though. Junie Allen Browning.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. There's a 2 gigabyte update for Subnautica. Why? What? I'm intrigued. Sorry, I'm totally off topic. What are we doing? We're racing here?
Oh!
Lord have mercy.
Eric Klein got a little bit into the back of Wayne Medeiros there in his spot. He is going to decline 2 positions, I think, because John Barker is going to get through here in turn 1. Unless he backs off, he backed off.
Yep, letting him go. Oh, he's going to lift off there.
But he forced the mistake out of Klein and takes 8th place back. So John Barker back into the top 8. Wayne Medeiros and Josiah Jerome are side by side. I'm hoping to get the camera onto that because that's flipping positions very rapidly, heading towards the hairpin. And Josiah's got the inside line. I would say this is going to be a little bit of a
push. That's a Sean Kenny move. Whoa!
Just making sure that he shows you the way. Sean Parker picks up a spot as well.
And Medeiros just lost another spot to Eric Klein.
Little bit elbows out there. I don't know if the steward would take a dim view of that, Josiah, but he may. Richard DeRoche still on the tail of Martin Edmonds. By the way, Mike Stoffmill 9 seconds out in front. We haven't really talked about that really at all. And there is James Butler and Sarah Hunty back at it for 12th position.
There's going to be some ballast on the next race. Just a heads up. Top 10.
There always is. I'm a little surprised that Joe Racer has not managed to come through the grid at all. Like, we were talking about him being out of position earlier on, and he's and we've seen Christopher Streppen do some things to fix that. Josiah Jerome has done some things to fix that. Even Andrew D is on a little bit of a charge from 20th to 15th. But Joe is kind of stuck. It's a bit weird. As Eric Klein.
That's not Eric Klein.
No, that is not Eric Klein.
Tavares.
That is John Peach, actually, and Arnaldo Tavares.
There you go.
Tavares is on his way back after him and James Butler had their accident, and that has pushed him towards the back of the field.
Let's see how far is Joe Racer here. 1 second, so he might get to these two.
He may. We'll see what he can do about Mr. Butler and Ms. Hunty. As time runs down here, 7 minutes. 7 minutes and change to go. Here in race number 2, as Sarah's going up the inside, and we're not going to get to see it because we just cut to randomly John Peach and Tobias Howard. No disrespect to either of them fighting over 19th place, but it's a little bit less important than what was going on higher.
There we go. Here's Joe.
So Joe is up on the back of James Butler after Butler's scrap with Hunty. He came off on the worst end of it. And it is now Hunty in 12th, Butler 13th, and Joe Racer in 14th. Eric Klein putting the pressure on John Barker for 7th.
Solid race for Mr. Klein.
Well played.
He's pretty new to Raceroom. He's done quite a bit of R-Factor racing.
I think it's
sounds
fairly,
like some weird math nonsense.
It's fairly easy to pick up, I think, the Raceroom from R-Factor conversion.
Yeah, the other way around is a little harder for sure.
I was actually how I did it. I came to Raceroom from R-Factor, so there you go. And was also racing Project Cars.
Yeah, we don't talk about Project Cars.
Which can lick my chode.
I hate myself for buying those 2 titles full price.
I didn't buy the second one. They weren't tricking me the second time.
Second one I didn't really buy. I had a code for a game when I bought my video card. I can't even remember the game. I traded it to a guy. I said, if you can buy me Project Cars 2 on sale, I'll give you that code. That was a brand new game. So we waited for a sale, and then I just gave him the code and got Project Cars free out of it.
I bought Project Cars 1. Shame on them.
Shame on you.
If you bought Project Cars 2, shame on you.
Oh man, what a waste of time and money and effort on everyone. Even on me trying to make it work.
You know what, actually, I found the most annoying thing about Project Cars was the AI in, like, the single-player, like, championship mode.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was always way all over the place. Every race would be, like, different drivers out front. Like, I won a karting championship in Project Cars, never finishing above 6th place. Because the top 5 was so erratic that there just was no one putting up consistent points.
Yeah, there's lots of logic problem in this game. Anyway, back on this fight here, Mr. Klein, can you make it to 7th place?
Can he make it stick against Mr. John Barker? And just ahead of them, Josiah is breathing all over the back of Enrique Hervas, who has
That's going to be interesting.
An eventful day. And we'll see if Josiah can get the job done.
Well, Josiah's figured out the inside on this for sure. He's been taking position.
Oh!
Well, he's learned a lesson with Hervas there. Hervas is not one to give it up easily.
I will say, Josiah's been very physical in that hairpin. Mm-hmm. I'm a little surprised that did not come to the steward's attention at any point.
Well, he's gaining confidence. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Because he keeps drinking.
He's now in 5th place.
You quit drinking? Well, quit drinking vodka.
Oh boy. We're probably going to go see this fight until the end there. Just
probably
spoiler
3 minutes
warning.
And 20 seconds. I'm just looking through the grid here to see if anything else is. I mean, we might go back to Barker versus Klein. That's still a fight that's definitely on. Jerome versus Hervas is still going. Christoph Verstappen is right on the tail. Oh, Klein, I think, has gone off the track because he's dropping like a stone. He's dropped out of the top 10.
There was a little bit of contact there, I believe.
Could be a little bit of friendliness between him and John Barker. Barker lost a spot to Medeiros as well, so I suspect you are correct on that, Martin.
Oh,
Hervas losing control a little bit.
Trying to get back into
it may be no regrets racing, but I think Enrique may have regrets.
A few regrets racing.
Back to these two.
Richard DeRoche putting the pressure on Martin. Martin, why can you not get any separation here, man? You were a podium finisher in race 1. Richard was, no disrespect to Richard, but he was a bit of an El Saran. He was back in 6th place. Grande Ricardo did not exactly live up to the name. Why is it you can't shake him this time?
I kept making a lot of mistakes. He was capitalizing on them.
Heroin addiction.
Crippling heroin addiction.
I'm not talking about ex-girlfriend here.
And it looks like
I wasn't talking about Wonder Woman.
Looks like we've lost Andrew D from the race. Not sure if that's a mechanical failing or perhaps a computer failing or an internet failing. But,
or a server failing.
He is definitely out of the race.
Andrew, in biology, I got a D.
I mean, I feel like if I had gotten a D in biology, I may have been killed.
That's true. I mean, the Bolivian death squads were rampant in Bramptological Society.
My dad was very, very...
biological.
Insistent that we get good science grades.
So that you can build bombs?
Biological weapons, but yeah.
Slobodan Magas lives up to his name.
See, I'm not really digging this outside attempt here by Richard. That's just not really ever going to work out.
Since he didn't at any point turn right, yeah, it's not a great look.
And we got a bit of a squabble going on here, although I don't know if there's any lapped cars here in the mix. Let's see here. There's Eric Klein, Christoph Verstappen, Wayne Hutchinson, and John Barker. So yeah, this is 8 through 11. This is for position.
What happened to Mr. Klein?
Klein was remember he dropped out of the top 10. Him and John Barker, we believe, had contact.
Oh, well, he might take advantage of this here if he. He's gone a little wide.
But those two Tolman cars are very quick. Verstappen and Hutchinson. Remember, they were 4th and 5th in race 1. They've just had a recovery drive here in race 2 and are up to 9th and 10th now. So they're a little out of position. As DeRoche continues to put the pressure on Martin Edmond, knowing that he is probably low on the tires.
There's a car on the side of the road there. One of the yellow car.
Indeed, one of the yellow cars. I believe. I don't know who that would be. There's no one. There's no one who's dropping. That wouldn't really make sense.
I had that red line on the front.
The top. I think it is Dallas Munch.
Down
in 20th place. I think maybe something has happened there.
Munchen.
So we're on the final lap here. Mike Stoffmill leads from Sean Kenny, Martin Edmonds, Richard DeRoche, Josiah Jerome, Enrique Hervas, Wayne Medeiros, John Barker, Wayne Hutchinson, and Christopher Streppen. That is your top 10, but there is a lot of chance for change here, as there's a hell of a battle going on from about 8th back to 11th, and this battle here for the final podium position continues.
So I haven't seen a penalty being assigned to Mr. Josiah Jerome here. So it looks like the logs or the server had an error on reporting.
It is possible.
For race 2. Yeah. Oof. Or Josiah will be happy.
DeRoche all over your butt.
Yeah.
And there is the Tolman battle for 9th place.
Tolman.
And the Masters of the Universe.
Tolman.
Actually, to go full circle about the Tolman and then the 1994 Benetton team. The Benetton team, before it was Benetton, was Tolman. There you go.
Ah.
Benetton and Tolman.
the Benetton clothing brand, bought the team out. Oh, Wayne getting a little sideways. Oh, for stripping getting collected.
God damn.
That's just wrong place, wrong time for Christoph Verstappen right there. And
he lost a spot to Klein.
Indeed, yeah, Klein up into the top 10.
And
Good job, Klein.
Wayne's going for it, but I don't think he's going to get it. There's Joe Racer, who's gotten up to 13th. He's gotten the better of Sarah Hunty, but has been stuck behind James Butler the rest of the way, it appears.
There's a little bit of jumping in position here.
Yeah, but that's a car behind them that is jumping. It's Vic Nash.
So, Joe Racer, congratulations on the end of late position.
Christoph Verstappen was humping the wall at the end there. That's not healthy, Christoph.
I mean, it's pretty safe humping. No chance of diseases.
Robert Waddell on the tail of Vic Nash, battle for 15th place.
Come on, Waddell.
Between two of the newer comers to the ESR community. Robert's been here a while, but he hasn't been terribly regular. Hopefully this is the start of that being the case. And this is Vic Nash's debut. And Vic Nash will come across the line in 15th place, ahead of Robert Waddell. Hinaldo Tavares, John Picha, Tobias Howard wind up the finishers in 17th, 18th, and 19th place, with Michael Magus as a DNS, never left the pit lane. And during the race, we lost Andrew D. and Dallas Much.
Did not salsa.
Did not salsa, no.
Okay,
Josiah Jerome, 92nd penalty.
Yeah, well, that's an error.
That is an error. That does appear to be an error.
So that shouldn't be there, and Josiah is actually in 5th place.
Correct.
Ahead of Hervas.
Correct.
Josiah Jerome continually penalized because racism.
Although, gentlemen, I'm just saying, if you report Josiah, you probably could have gotten a penalty on him for some of those hairpin passes, because they were they were a little brute force. They were a little bit lacking in the finesse that we would like to see normally.
Yeah, he found a good spot to pass people and got pretty confident in there. Can't blame him.
No, you know what? If you get away with it, it's not breaking the rules. That's just all there is to it.
All right, well, solid round 1, guys. Hopefully we get even more drivers on round 2, which is pretty rare, but who knows? Next round is an enduro.
Had we not had server, you would have had 25 cars had you not screwed up the server there. Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's
lame-o.
right. What happened again? I can't remember.
You tried to use the server admin chat, and that created an error, and the server crashed.
The server crashed, and we lost Rochelle. My apology, Rochelle.
Could not make it. All right, that is all for the opening round of the Aquila CR1 Cup. Hope you come back for round number 2, and there's some DTM action probably coming up at some point in the near future. And the first practice round for 3D Speed is tomorrow. So if you have not signed up for that, please do. We got some spots open on some teams and some people looking for teammates still.